iRacing is a sim racing game that combines a true-to-life racing experience with an online community of virtual racers from all around the globe. iRacing offers a multitude of officially licensed cars and tracks, laser scanned with millimeter accuracy. Their car models and mechanical systems are based on real-world physics, engineered in cooperation with manufacturers and race teams. Their skill license system ranges from rookie to pro, ensuring members are always pitted against those with similar skill sets. Members are able to sign up for a weekly race series, compete in time trials, host a private race with friends, and participate in racing leagues created and run by the community. With over 170,000 members, iRacing works in partnership with renowned motorsports organizations like NASCAR to deliver virtual races based on the real-life NASCAR Cup Series, as well as many other series on the NASCAR ladder. iRacing also features team racing, providing a variety of options for members to create and manage their own teams. Race with friends or real-world teammates in full-length endurance events like the 24 Hours of Daytona, Spa 24, or the Bathurst 12 Hour. Additional partners include IMSA, World of Outlaws, Supercars, and IndyCar, allowing members to race in their very own Indianapolis 500, Bathurst 1000, Chili Bowl, and many more iconic events. This is iRacing, delivering the most authentic racing experience short of getting into a real race car. Sign up today at iRacing.com.
Good evening, race fans, and welcome to the show. Tonight, we got a great one. We have the season finale for the ASRC Next Gen Series. We have 4 drivers here in the playoffs, that being Flying Brian Wilderson, Daddy Dave Payton, Ron the Hitman Hart, and Hayden Smooth Operator Swank here tonight going for a championship. Those 4, the 4 we got to keep an eye on all race long. The best finisher out of those 4 walk away with the first ever trophy of the American Sim Racing Club Next Gen Series. Here, as we get ready to head over to qualifying, we'll wait till one of those playoff drivers rolling on the speedway. Looks like the first car we'll look at here. He had a lot of speed, didn't pick up a win in those playoff runs, but had enough to point his way in. We are taking a look at here the 51 machine of Ron the Hitman Hart tonight. First car rolling on the speedway is the 51, so we'll get him up on screen here on the left with some lap times and see what Ron Hart can do as he brings that 51 Chevy Camaro up to speed down the backstretch. Ron Hart in the wall there, going to discard this lap. So we're going to take a look at another playoff driver. That is the 951 Flying Brian Wilderson. Picked up the second win there in the playoffs, locking himself in, taking all the stress out of Charlotte. So Wilderson here on his first time lap. The 951 is on the clock as he heads off at turn number 2 here down the backstretch at the Homestead Miami Speedway. Wilderson floats it through 3 and 4, keeps that car on the top side. Got to keep it off the wall. That if he makes any sort of contact with the wall, that lap will not be allowed. So Wilderson here, lap number 1. We will see where he goes. Right now, Zach Heiser quickest with a 9.63. Now Hayden Swank to the top of the board. Wilderson now heads down to that bottom side, lap number 2. He tried to get as much momentum lap number 1 to let it rip here on lap number 2. We take a look here. There you see P number 3 with a 33.657. Zach Heiser now goes with a 33.0. Heiser to the top of the board in the 14 horsepower Happens machine. Off of turn number 4, Brian Wilderson comes. He will improve the lap time, go to quick time, and then get knocked off just by Hayden Swank in the 35 machine. Hayden Swank Right now, only car in the 32.99 time bracket here tonight. As Ron Hart gets out there, he's lap number 1, a great lap of 33.15. Here is lap number 2 as Tim Rogers now rockets to the top. The 48 machine right now, quick time here for Ron Hart on a great lap here. About to see what Ron Hart can do as he heads through 3 and 4 for the final time here tonight in qualifying. As the sun continues to set, we'll see the sun probably set for race time as Ron Hart crosses the start finish line. Improves on the lap, but just barely. Ron Hart will stay P number 5. Also looks like Dave Payne out there will cross the start finish line here. First lap 33.86, second lap 33.46. So Dave Payne will start pretty deep in tonight's field. Looks like he'll roll off P number 7 at the moment. And it looks like no other cars on the speedway. 9 cars have taken a lap of the 11 here tonight. As we will wait till the end of qualifying to kick it on over for our 90 lap main event here at the Homestead Miami Speedway. Of course, we will decide our championship winner here tonight. Sorry, the distance actually 100 laps. We'll go in the big 100 here tonight at the Homestead Miami Speedway. As right now, Tim Rogers looks like he will walk away with the pole position. A flying 32.98. Hayden Swank in second, just behind with a 32.99. Third going to Brian Woodison with a 31.01. Zach Heiser fourth with a 33.06. And Ron Hart rounding out the top 5 with a 33.14. As that will do it here for qualifying. Now we get ready for party time. As like I said, folks, 11 drivers here tonight ready to do battle. As 4 of them battling for a lot on the line. The championship is within arm's reach for those 4 drivers. Let us know at Turn 3 Race Network who you rooting on for here tonight. Who do you think will walk away with the championship? A lot of great drivers in it. As we get ready now to head to the front stretch for tonight's starting grid here for the Homestead Miami season finale. Tim Rogers and the Skull Bandit Racing 48 machine will lead the field to the green flag. Hayden Swank and the 35 to his outside. Hayden Swank still looking for sponsors on that car. If he walks away with a championship, I assume we'll see some sponsors on that 35 for next season. Row number 2 being made up of flying Brian Wilson in the 951 with Zach Heiser in the 14 horsepower Happening Chevy Camaro starting to his outside. P number 5 going to Ron the Hitman Hart with the 51 machine. And Devin McDonald in the 18 starting in 6th. 7th, our final deepest starting driver of the final 4 going to Dave Payton in the 38 Pinkerton machine with Joey Beck in the 42 Wendy's starting in 8th. 9th going to Deontay Hero in the Buckshot 00 machine with Tanner Tellerico in the 1 starting in 10th. And rounding out the field tonight, our race control Andrew Payne in the 93 will roll off P number 11. As that will do it here for tonight. For tonight's starting grid, we take a look at some wild helmets. I mean, we got to take a look, maybe a closer look at the helmet for the 48 machine. I see 2 sets of eyes on that thing. As Tim Rogers, a wild helmet here for this championship race in that Skull 48 machine. We get cars rolling here out to the speedway. Try drivers, like I said, folks, ready to do battle for 100 laps here as everyone rocks and rolls and gets out to the speedway. Like I said, folks, Tim Rogers in the 48 Skull machine leading the field to the green flag. Hayden Swing starting to the outside. Joey Beck moves up to fourth. It looks like Zach Heiser dropping to the back, taking an EOL on the start. Alrighty, here comes the field. iRacers pace car down pit road. Tim Rogers leads the field to the green flag. He's on the loud pedal, going through the sequential gearbox as they dive it down to turn number one. Tim Rogers with a little bit of advantage. 3 wide behind is Ron Hart, wasting no time trying to go to the front. Here they come around Hayden Swank for P number 2. Ron Hart says it's go time from the drop of the green flag. Brian Wilderson right in tow as well behind that 51 machine. So these guys already trying to put on the moves here early as Ron Hart now side by side with Hayden Swank for P number 2. Tim Rogers comes across the start finish line, leads lap number 1 over a handful of playoff drivers right behind him here. Side by side, 2 rows back here as Ron Hart, Hayden Swank very close. Tim Rogers gets loose here. That opens the door for Hayden Swank for the race lead as they dive down into turn number 3 here. Hayden Swank down low. Tim Rogers on the top side as we jump on board with Hayden Swank. You should see Tim Rogers' nose come around the top side. Maybe not, as Hayden Swank will clear and lead lap number 2. Here comes Ron Hart to try and get around the 48 machine. And Brian Wilderson sends it down on the inside. 3 wide here once again at the Homestead Miami Speedway. Off of turn number 2 they come, and Ron Hart will clear Rogers. And 1 car in the wall further on back. Tanner Tallarico. Not sure if he got tagged by Zach Heiser, if Tallarico just lost the back end. It looks like, yeah, Tallarico just loses the back end, tries to correct it, gets a big piece of the wall there, and that will be a tough break for the 1 car here early. As you see Tallarico heading down pit road with some right front damage. It looks like that right front still on that car, but heavy damage as we head back to the lead here. Hayden Swank leading the way over Brian Wilderson and Ron Hart, who is side by side with Joey Beck for that 3rd position. Beck trying to roll the high side here early at Homestead. Joey Beck right now on the move up into P number 3. Another driver on the move. That is Deontay Hura in the Buckshot 00 machine. He has been on the top side and making it work here early. You got to wonder, though, how much are these drivers killing that right front, running that top side? We know it wears it a little bit more aggressive than that inside lane. Those cars carrying just a little bit more speed. Head up to look at the battle for the race lead as Joey Beck against the wall there. He gets stuck in it. That will send him further on back as Deontay Hura, Tim Rogers, and maybe even Dave Payton will get by the 42 machine. So that is the other big deterrent from running the wall, that if you get in that wall glue, let's say in that safer barrier, it kills your momentum and slows you way on down. I could speak here. As contact between Hura and Tim Rogers, somehow Hura hangs onto that car there, as that could have been very bad for some of those drivers in the mid-pack. I was going to say no Ross Chastain wall ride here on the iRacing simulator here at Homestead. It just gets killed too much, as Hura right to the back bumper. Rogers maybe saying he didn't like that move too much from the 48 machine, maybe squeezing him up against that wall heading into turn number 3 there. So single file top 3, then to 4th. Deontay Hura does get around Tim Rogers. Rogers start on the pole, maybe big time tire striving strategy from the 48 machine as he is still on the inside lane. Now Dave Payne right on the back bumper, maybe trying to make a move. And here comes Joey Beck trying to make another run here towards the front. Last time by Ron Hart, quickest car on track. So Hart taking care of those tires here early and maybe starting to turn up the wick here on lap number 7. Of course, live overlay not popping up on screen, so we'll keep you up to date. Right now, Hayden Swank out in front, about a half a second gap over Brian Wildison second, Ron Hart third, Deontay Hero here on your screen in fourth, Tim Rogers fifth, and Dave Payne, Joey Beck side by side for that 6th position. As now last time by, fastest car on track is now Tim Rogers in that 48 machine. This pack is catching those, let's say, second and third now, as here are right about 2 car lengths, make it maybe now 1 to the back bumper of Ron Hart. And here comes Dave Payton. He's hoping for a championship here tonight as he starts to close the gap now to the 51 of Ron Hart. A lot of great battles here. Battle for 8th. Zach Heiser, Dev McDonald side by side there towards the back of this pack. Heiser trying to roll the top side around the 18 machine as we jump on board now with the 38 machine of Dave Payne. He's here with that run to the top side. And Ron Hart right on the back bumper of Brian Wildison. That's going to take away some of that arrow on the nose there. Make that car a little bit tighter than the 51 would like there through 3 and 4. Ron Hart with a great run, able to get to the inside of Wildison. They go side by side here for P number 2. Wildison will sail along the top side. Ron Hart shorter distance around the speedway down low. Side by side, 2 by 2 as one car sideways somehow hangs onto it. That is Joey Beck with the save of the race there. I don't know how he kept that thing straight, and not only that, lost minimal time to the field in front of him. As we head back up to the battle for second, Wildison able to get clear of Hart. Here right there to attack. Same with Dave Payne as they both look for an open lane, try and get around these cars. While Wildison able to roll through 1 and 2. Very nice there. Pulls up to about 2 car lengths to our race leader, Hayden Swain. As we take a look here, jumping on board with Deontay here, trying to roll the high side here of the 51 machine, trying to find some gap with there. Ron Hart loose. He gets Dave Payton. Both of them in the wall. Hard break for Dave Payton as he will hit that outside wall hard. Same with Tim Rogers, also involved, as Ron Hart, I believe, was the start of that, and a tough break for a lot of playoff drivers there. As we take a look here, Ron Hart off of turn number 4, just gets that thing yawed out a little bit too much, gets that apron, that sends that car hard right, and Dave Payton nowhere to go, hard contact, and then looks like Tim Rogers just gets clipped by Ron Hart. Rogers trying to save that car, and looks like minimal front end damage to the 48. He does get a piece there, but a heartbreak for Dave Payton, whose championships hopes will come to an end here early in tonight's race. As we get cars here under the yellow flag, we're going to go to commercial break, try and figure out this overlay, and we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere, folks.
iRacing is a sim racing game that combines a true-to-life racing experience with an online community of virtual racers from all around the globe. iRacing offers a multitude of officially licensed cars and tracks, laser scanned with millimeter accuracy. Their car models and mechanical systems are based on real-world physics and engineered in cooperation with manufacturers and race teams. Their skill license system ranges from rookie to pro, ensuring members are always pitted against those with similar skill sets. Members are able to sign up for a weekly race series, compete in time trials, host a private race with friends, and participate in racing leagues created and run by the community. With over 170,000 members, iRacing works in partnership with renowned motorsports organizations like NASCAR to deliver virtual races based on the real-life NASCAR Cup Series, as well as many other series on the NASCAR ladder. iRacing also features team racing, providing a variety of options for members to create and manage their own teams. Race with friends or real-world teammates in full-length endurance events like the 24 Hours of Daytona, Spa 24, or the Bathurst 12 Hour. Additional partners include IMSA, World of Outlaws, Supercars, and IndyCar, allowing members to race in their very own Indianapolis 500, Bathurst 1000, Chili Bowl, and many more iconic events. This is iRacing, delivering the most authentic racing experience short of getting into a real race car. Sign up today at iRacing.com.
Alrighty, folks, we get ready to go back green flag racing action here for the season finale of the Next Gen Cup Series. Of course, some playoff implications there. Last yellow, Ron Hart gets loose, collects Dave Payne, Tim Rogers, and Deontay here. Looks like Ron Hart does catch the back of the field here as Brian Wilderson leads the field to the green flag. He jumps on the loud pedal. We go back green flag racing action here as it looks like Dave Payne's playoff hopes do come to an end now. As Wilderson, currently our best playoff driver running. Hayden Swank, though, trying to keep Wilderson on. It says he gets a little bit loose off of turn number 2. Joey Beck able to slide in front of Tim Rogers there. Zach Heiser to the top side of Swank for second. This is what Wilderson wants to see out the rearview mirror. He wants to see an intense battle for second. Allow him to get a gap and able to save some tires as Heiser now with the advantage as they dive down into turn number 1. Heiser to the top. Hayden Swank down low. Heiser looks like he has the run off the corner. Almost gets the piece of the wall. Maybe had to pedal just a little bit as he doesn't quite get clear of the 35 machine. So they stay side by side here for heat number 2. As Heiser once again a great run down the front stretch, about a half a car length advantage once again heading into turn number 1. We'll see what kind of run Heiser can get off at turn number 2. Last time struggled a little bit with that. Back loses the back end just a little bit there, but Hayden Swank able to complete the pass there as Brian Wilderson has checked out to about a half a second race lead over these two battling for second. Brian Wilderson out in front, leading the way. This time he will complete lap 20 here of 100. So a fifth of the way through tonight's season finale here for the Next Gen ASRC series. Right now down to 7 cars. Maybe make that 6 as Joey Beck hard into the backstretch wall. That will have a lot of damage to that Wendy's machine. That burger looking a little crushed on the hood there. As we'll see if Beck does keep that car out on the speedway. Very similar to Tanner Talarico's. Beck gets loose there. Same with Devin McDonald off of turn number 4. So McDonald gets that thing rolling. I think Beck calls it a day. So now maybe down to 6 cars on the speedway here tonight. As Hayden Swank last time by about 3/10 quicker over Brian Wilderson. Hayden Swank trying to come back for the race lead here tonight. Jump on board here with the 35 machine of Hayden Swank. As Hayden Swank, best lap of 33.04 last time by 33.19. We'll take a look here, see what he runs last time by. Looks like it will be at 33.26. So Hayden Swank, some great laps right now, only matching Brian Wilderson, our race leader, right in front of him. It looks like we will once again lose the time in scoring, so we'll be back at some point later. But right now, lap 23 here has started here tonight. We look a little bit further back. Tim Rogers trying to catch the back bumper of Ron Hart for that 4th position here tonight. Right now, everyone's spread on out. 2 cars, Wilderson and Swank, 4-1-2. Zach Heiser on his own island in 3rd. Then 4th, 5th, Ron Hart, Tim Rogers, fairly close to each other, and then Devin McDonald once again on his own island there in 6th as well. As we go to the race leader, Wilderson keeping that car as low as he can. Hayden Swank about half to a car length higher than Wilderson. He is right there now on the back bumper of the 951 as they dive down into turn number 3 here tonight. So we take a look at our race leader, Brian Wilderson, trying to increase the gap. Who we jump on board now, Hayden Swank. Swank with a great run off of turn number 2. He might have enough of a run to look to the inside. Wilderson will take that away, say no siree, not this time. As Wilderson gets a little bit loose, getting that apron. And this now opens up the door for Hayden Swank. Wilderson gets loose and almost contact there for the race lead as Wilderson was chasing that car off of turn number 4. Here comes Wilderson though. A lunge down to the inside of the 35 machine as Wilderson looks like that rear end very loose here on that 951. Are those rear tires starting to go for Brian Wilderson here? That is not something he wants to see here tonight, folks, for that playoff run. Wilderson's got to turn it on down just a little bit, settle back into a rhythm, get those rear tires to the temperature he wants if he wants to mount another attack on Hayden Swank and not let that 35 machine drive off into the distance with that championship here tonight. The battle for 3rd starting to heat on up. Zach Heiser slowly falling into the clutches that of Ron Hart, Tim Rogers here for 4th and 5th. So teammates maybe getting ready to do battle here at the Homestead Miami Speedway. Ron Hart will now dive into the inside. Heiser sticking to the top here. Battle for P number 3 here at the moment. So with the remaining playoff drivers, Ron Hart trying to make it a 1-2-3 if he can get around the 14 horsepower happening machine. They go side by side into 3 and 4 here. As it looks like they go door to door at the start finish line. We'll have to see how aggressively Ron Hart sails it on into one here. He runs the middle line, so not quite at the bottom like we see our race leaders. Hart trying to get the momentum, but Heiser has it on the top side here. A great run off of turn number 2 for the 14 machine. Ron Hart a little bit loose on that inside lane. This could allow Tim Rogers now to the inside of Heiser. As Ron Hart clears the 14 for P number 3. Here comes Tim Rogers with that opening from Ron Hart. He's trying to get around the 14 machine now for that 4th position. Looks like off of turn number 2, Tim Rogers will do just that. So Ron Hart to 3rd, Tim Rogers to 4th. Zach Heiser back down to P number 5 tonight. We head up front. Hayden Swank now increasing the gap to Brian Woodison. Now over half a second advantage to the 35 machine over Brian Woodison. We take a look here on the top of the spotter stand here. Take a look at the gap down the backstretch it is. And that is the distance. Now growing almost to 3/4 of a second. Hayden Swank trying to check out from this field here on lap number 31. Lap number 32 coming up in the books here. We're going to be, as one car coming down pit road. Zach Heiser going for maybe the 3-stopper. Very undercut here tonight. Heiser down on pit road here tonight. So just as I was about to say, we'll go to commercial break. Get the scoring back up on the screen. So we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere, folks. We come back here to the Homestead Miami Speedway, and some of the back guys that are out of this race may switch positions, but they're already out of tonight's race, so we won't keep too much of an eye on them. We'll keep an eye here on the top 6 who are still out on the speedway. Hayden Swank right now with the race lead, now over a second advantage over Brian Woodison, who sits P number 2. 3rd is Ron Hart trying to reel in these guys in front. He has closed the gap to Hayden Swank a little bit, but he has closed the gap much more to Brian Woodison. We also have Tim Rogers right there until Rogers using the 51 as the marker for his lap times here in this run. Devin McDonald in the AT machine still hangs on to that P number 5 spot. Right before break, we saw Zach Heiser come down pit road, get some new tires. He currently sits 6th, 1 lap down, but on the fresh set of rubber. So 13 races coming to an end. Okay then. And folks, 13 weeks. coming to an end, of course, tonight at the Homestead Miami Speedway as a lot going into the season tonight. It's coming to a head. We'll find out who the championship is. Hayden Swank right now, hoping that this race is only 50 laps long. If that's the case, it looks like he has a good chance walking away with it, but still a lot more to go here tonight. Brian Wilderson hoping he has something saved in the bag to take away that championship from Hayden Swank. And Ron Hart, don't count this 51 machine out yet, was down on pit road getting some repairs. He seems to have some pretty decent speed in the 51, and Tim Rogers trying to play some spoiler here tonight. He sits trying to get around that 51 machine of Ron Hart. As we keep an eye on the battle for this third position, Tim Rogers catching the back bumper of Ron Hart. About 2 car lengths separating these two for that third position here tonight. This is not what Ron Hart wants to see. He wants to be able to catch the 951 of Brian Wilson, not have to worry about some pressure in the rearview mirror, but that is what Ron Hart is dealing with here as the field approaches the halfway mark. Tim Rogers now to the inside of Ron Hart for P number 3. Hart stuck up on the top lane here. Rogers shorter distance around the speedway. Rogers almost gets clear of Hart. Hart now with the run down the front stretch. Roger goes to the middle, kind of diamonds it on off. Straight run off the corner, but it won't be enough as Reinhardt still holding strong on that top lane. These guys still side by side now, trying to make it multiple laps here tonight at the Homestead Miami for the season finale of the Next Gen Series. Off of turn number 4, Tim Rogers will clear the 51 of Ron Hart. Rogers up to P number 3. Now Hart has to hope that Rogers can chase down Wilderson and have him fall into his clutches with that. Hayden Swank out in front on a Sunday drive. He is about 0.3 faster than Wilderson, 0.2 faster than Tim Rogers. So Swank having a lot of long run speed in this 35 machine. He's out here on a Sunday drive, just cruising, clicking off the laps here tonight. As we got to ride on board with Hayden Swank, see what's making this car so quick. Hayden Swank nice and smooth, but we got to take a look further on back as Tim Rogers gets around Brian Wilderson. Wilderson down pit road here just before the halfway mark. Wilderson saw he was getting caught by those cars and says, I need a championship winning move. This is what Wilderson thinks will take it. Gonna short pit, trying to undercut the cars around him as he was definitely losing time to our race leader here tonight. As Wilderson will bring it down on the front stretch, bring it into his box. As now, when do these leaders come down pit road? Hayden Swank's probably going to stay out as long as possible. He's got a lot of great long run speed here, but if you're like to Ron Hart, Tim Rogers, when do you come down pit road? That could be the difference here tonight, folks, for a championship. When to come down and when to take those tires. As Wilderson, very long stop, so not sure what is wrong with Wilderson. Maybe Wilderson with a speeding penalty as he is still stuck in his box. And what the times that I'm looking like in the box here, folks, looks like Wilderson sped on pit road. That could eliminate the championship hopes if there is no more yellow flags here tonight. So Hayden Swank now a almost 4.5 second advantage over our second place driver, Tim Rogers, as Wilderson still down on pit road. So maybe some major issues to the 951 as Tim Rogers hangs on to second over now Ron Hart, who slides up to third. These two have been running very similar laps throughout this run here. As of course I forgot to mention, folks, the drivers with the red numbers, those are the playoff drivers. We gotta keep an eye on the best finishing red number walks away with the championship here tonight. Right now that honor goes to Hayden Swank here. If this race was 50 laps, he would be walking away with it here, but this time by at the start finish line, we see cross flags here, halfway down, halfway home for the season finale. Hayden Swank's just got to match his pace the second half, and he could be walking away with an ASRC championship here tonight. Also, guys, you guys won't want to miss it. This Wednesday here on the Turn 3 Racing Network is the season championship of another ASRC series. That, of course, being the Scrambler series coming to an end. Right now, a great points battle between Brett the Jet and Nick Fleury, and that those street stocks heading to the LA Coliseum on Wednesday night. That's going to be some don't want to miss racing action, as that's going to be some wild stuff at the quarter mile, especially if we get 15 plus cars there. As we take a look at our race leader just on a Sunday drive, Hayden Swank now stretches out the legs even more. 5.5 seconds over our second place driver, Tim Rogers, as Wilderson finally looks like out of tonight's race. So already two of our playoff drivers out tonight. That first being Dave Payton, now Brian Wilderson in the 951. As we have the 48 machine, Tim Rogers, down on pit road. I guess now with Wilderson kind of checking on out, he is the first car down pit road trying to split this race in half. As that moves Ron Hart up into P number 2. Hayden Swank still out there by himself in the race lead here tonight. As when does the race leader, Hayden Swank, come down pit road? This time by it looks like Ron Hart is coming down pit road. So Hart will now pit here on lap 54. Now 2 out of the top 5 down on pit road. As Hayden Swank sideways there off of turn number 2. Swank, rear tires starting to feel it. Do we see Swank down? I mean, especially with this advantage, I think we got to see him down sooner than later, as he'll sail it high and does slow on down to head down the front stretch here at the Homestead, Miami, making sure you got to make sure that you don't speed on this stop. This could be the money stop, like I said, folks, to decide if you walk away here tonight with a championship. And Swank rolling to the box here. We got to keep an eye on this, as Deb McDonald still out on the racing surface takes over the race lead, as Hayden Swank looks like a nice clean stop there. As we take a look at our new race leader here, Deb McDonald still has not pitted yet in this first 55 laps here tonight, as behind him Zach Heiser trying to get that lap back. and the 14 machine. Iser will roll around the top side. McDonald struggling with the handling on that car as he stays out another lap off of pit road. Hayden Swank will roll and has a healthy gap now over Ron Hart, who jumped Tim Rogers there in the pit cycle. The gap between Hart and Swank about 6.5 seconds, so pretty identical when they did come down pit road here. As Dan McDonald staying out for probably as long as he can in the 18 machine, hoping for a yellow flag at some point so he can come on down with the race lead here as we close in on the end of tonight's race. As we jump on board with our highest running playoff driver, Hayden Swank, still in cruise control, still about that gap, 6.5 seconds over Ron Hart. Dev McDonald still out here doing laps. And we got a onboard cockpit view here as we see the 18 machine working this wheel off of the corner exits here tonight. You can see him, hear him playing with that throttle, making sure that 18 machine doesn't come around on it. You can hear Deb McDonald, especially corner exit, very timid on that throttle. You can see that banking fall away before the straightaway. So you drivers having to be, of course, very timid on that loud pedal. Make sure nothing happens as battle for the third position here. Once again, Tim Rogers right on the back bumper of Ron Hart. It feels like deja vu. Before that pit cycle, we saw this exact thing last time Tim Rogers able to get around, drive away from the 51 machine. He's trying to do that again here in the second half of the race now. Tim Rogers about a car length back to Ron Hart. Now Rogers looks to the outside, trying to get some clean air on the nose of the car to get a nice run off the corner. It looks like won't be enough to get to the inside, but actually maybe lose a little bit to the 51 of Ron Hart. Hart doing a great job keeping that car on the low side. Here we saw him get loose, bring out that, I believe, one and only yellow here. As Hart trying to defend from the 48 of Tim Rogers. As we jump on board now with Ron Hart looking back at the 48 machine of Tim Rogers. Rogers very confident in that car. You see how deep he sends it. Ron Hart trying to feather the throttle there. That will open up the door for the 48 machine down the backstretch here. side by side. These two go into turn number 3. Rogers had to enter very shallow. Both the cars wash on up as they both get into the loud pedal at the same exact time. Rogers being very cautious racing with this 51 machine. Rogers knows Ron Hart is in the playoffs here. Doesn't want to take that race away from him. As Rogers goes all the way up to the top side, Ron Hart will try and cross him on over and clear the passes. Rogers missing the lift point there and sails it into turn number 1, losing that spot. Rogers having to do that all over again here tonight at the Homestead Miami Speedway. And with these two battling like they are, Hayden Swank checks out to a 10-second advantage over these guys. Dev McDonald trying to now down pit road, so McDonald will head down to his pit stall. This will hand over the race lead to Hayden Swank, who has, like I said, folks, a 10.5-second advantage over Ron Hart, who shuts the door there on Tim Rogers very late into turn number 3. So intense racing here to what will become our second spot here tonight, as Roger keeps on working Ron Hart for P number 2. Hayden Swank with these two battling, checking out now. Gap growing even more as Tim Rogers, very frustrated trying to get around the 51 machine here, has been stuck behind him ever since that pit cycle there, right around lap number 50. As Rogers able to get that thing to cut right at the apex, able to get to the inside. They once again will drag race down the front stretch and head into turn number 1. Rogers down low with a big send. He's doing the slider. He'll slide all the way up to the wall. Try that move again, as last time it didn't work so well. This time it looks like maybe not, as Rogers gets very loose. Ron Hart tries to cover it. These two going at it for second. They know that this is the battle here, as the race lead is far out of reach for these two. Ron Hart trying to break the draft a little bit. Tim Rogers falling down the front stretch. As Ron Hart right against the wall here, able to feel that air cushion here on the iRacing Simulator corner entry, able to drive it off the wall there, as Tim Rogers still keeping that car moving and distracting to Ron Hart in the 51. Once again, Tim Rogers to the inside. We'll jump on board with Rogers here as he'll sail it to the inside. Almost contact with Ron Hart for that second position. And off the corner they come, very close here as we ride right on the deck here of the 48 machine. Ron Hart will shut the door. Tim Rogers having to take evasive maneuvers, and it doesn't get much closer than this as, oh, Ron Hart gets sideways and he goes around off the nose of Tim Rogers, and that will bring out the yellow flag. Not what Hayden Swank wanted to see, as Ron Hart does get that car rolling. As we'll take a look here at the incident battle for a second. Tim Rogers kind of takes the air off of Ron Hart, and then Hart loses that back end, and then just ever so slight contact to set the 51 machine on around for not our first, but second yellow here tonight on lap number 71. We'll go to commercial break. Be right back on the other side.
iRacing is a sim racing game that combines a true-to-life racing experience with an online community of virtual racers from all around the globe. iRacing offers a multitude of officially licensed cars and tracks, laser scanned with millimeter accuracy. Their car models and mechanical systems are based on real-world physics and engineered in cooperation with manufacturers and race teams. Their skill license system ranges from rookie to pro, ensuring members are always pitted against those with similar skill sets. Members are able to sign up for a weekly race series, compete in time trials, host a private race with friends, and participate in racing leagues created and run by the community. With over 170,000 members, iRacing works in partnership with renowned motorsports organizations like NASCAR to deliver virtual races based on the real-life NASCAR Cup Series, as well as many other series on the NASCAR ladder. iRacing also features team racing, providing a variety of options for members to create and manage their own teams. Race with friends or real-world teammates in full-length endurance events like the 24 Hours of Daytona, Spa 24, or the Bathurst 12 Hour. Additional partners include IMSA, World of Outlaws, Supercars, and IndyCar, allowing members to race in their very own Indianapolis 500, Bathurst 1000, Chili Bowl, and many more iconic events. This is iRacing, delivering the most authentic racing experience short of getting into a real race car. Sign up today at iRacing.com.
Alrighty, folks, we head back here to the Homestead Miami Speedway as we get ready to rock and roll here on a restart. Hayden Swank's advantage over the field evaporates with the yellow flag as Swank here leads the way now over Ron Hart second, Devin McDonald third, Tim Rogers fourth, Zach Heiser rounds out the top five here. As we get ready to rock and roll. As the iRacing pace car here heads down pit road. In just 1 second. Now makes the left down pit road. And Hayden Swank in the 35 machine leads the field back to the green flag. Swank on the loud pedal. We go back green flag racing here with just over 25 laps to go. Swank away with a great start over Ron Hart. Already about 5 car lengths the gap here for the race lead. Of course, that battle for the championship. The last 2 playoff guys left in tonight's race are those 2, Hayden Swank and Ron Hart. Further on back, Zach Heiser trying to get around and does complete the pass on Tim Rogers for that 4th position. As here comes Zach Heiser, getting the break he needed. A yellow 2 bunch him back up to the field. Now trying to get around the 18 machine of Dev McDonald. He'll cross him on over and shoot to the inside of the 18 down the backstretch. Battle for P number 3 here with 25 laps to go. Zach Heiser able to get around. Zach Heiser back up to P number 3 as Tim Rogers now loose off of turn number 4. Hangs onto that car. Andrew Payne does go and get on around him. Last time by, Zach Heiser, fastest car on the speedway all night long. That 14 machine turning up the wick here late in tonight's race. Ron Hart now holding Hayden Swank honest, about a quarter second back to our race leader. Could Ron Hart have enough in the tank to challenge Hayden Swank, who has been so dominant here tonight for that championship? Ron Hart able to roll that inside now right to the back bumper. This is going to be a battle for the race lead and for a championship here with 23 laps to go. Dad McDonald very loose there off of turn number 4. Hangs on to that race car but does lose the spot. Now to Tim Rogers as McDonald will slide back into P number 5. Ron Hart searching out here tonight, trying to find any sort of speed to catch the back bumper of Hayden Swank as Zach Heiser gets loose there but hangs onto that race car. As with a little bit of time in between here, we're going to go to some turn 3, turn it up. Let the cars do the talking. I'll take a break here. "20 laps, the distance left in tonight's race as Hayden Swank now open up the gap. Now Zach Heiser hard into the inside wall. That will move him outside of the top 3, back into 5th, and probably down to pit road. Zach Heiser will take the horsepower half in his number 14 machine. Had such a great run going for him here tonight. And that looks like it'll come to an early end here with 19 laps to go. As Ron Hart starting to see the championship slip away a little bit to Hayden Swank. He's trying to find some speed, trying to figure out what he can do as we have a little bit of interest and stuff going on. Lap car, Andrew Payne trying to get in the mix here tonight. Andrew Payne catching the back bumper of Ron Hart. Could Andrew Payne affect anything here tonight? Last time by Payne with a flying 32.97, about 0.2 of a second faster than anyone else on the track, as Tim Rogers gets a big piece of the wall, but able to get a great run off the corner, even with the wall contact there. As the 14 machine of Zach Heiser does bring that car down pit road. Now that only leaves 4 cars on the lead lap. All 4 of these cars here on the screen for a second. And the 5th car, of course, being Andrew Payne, a handful of laps down here tonight. Ron Hart trying to make the high side work. Big time sideways. He'll lose the back end. Tim Rogers will tag him, and that will be a lot of damage for those cars as Dad McDonald makes very evasive maneuver and end up missing that, as now with Ron Hart jumping on out. He'll go to the infield care center, and that will only leave now Hayden Swank to try and come home with this championship. As we take a look here at our third yellow flag here tonight, Ron Hart trying to rip the high side, giving it everything she's got to get to the end to try and catch Hayden Swank, and pushed it over the limits. And Dan McDonald right here gets oh so lucky that Ron Hart sees him in his mirror and able to turn that car to the right at the last second. But a tough break to Ron Hart, bringing out that first yellow and now this most recent one, and that will end his playoffs hopes, as now the only playoff car left here tonight is the 35 machine of Hayden Swank. So Swank can complete one lap on his own here. He will walk away with the championship no matter how he finishes here tonight.
iRacing is a sim racing game that combines a true-to-life racing experience with an online community of virtual racers from all around the globe. iRacing offers a multitude of officially licensed cars and tracks, laser scanned with millimeter accuracy. Their car models and mechanical systems are based on real-world physics, engineered in cooperation with manufacturers and race teams. Their skill license system ranges from rookie to pro, ensuring members are always pitted against those with similar skill sets. Members are able to sign up for a weekly race series, compete in time trials, host a private race with friends, and participate in racing leagues created and run by the community. With over 170,000 members, iRacing works in partnership with renowned motorsports organizations like NASCAR to deliver virtual races based on the real-life NASCAR Cup Series, as well as many other series on the NASCAR ladder. iRacing also features team racing, providing a variety of options for members to create and manage their own teams. Race with friends or real-world teammates in full-length endurance events like the 24 Hours of Daytona, Spa 24, or the Bathurst 12 Hour. Additional partners include IMSA, World of Outlaws, Supercars, and IndyCar, allowing members to race in their very own Indianapolis 500, Bathurst 1000, Chili Bowl, and many more iconic events. This is iRacing, delivering the most authentic racing experience short of getting into a real race car. Sign up today at iRacing.com.
Alrighty here, folks. We come back to the Homestead Miami Speedway as the iRacing pace car heads down pit road. Hayden Swank leads the field back to the green flag. On the loud pedal he goes, and Dev McDonald goes on around on the front stretch. And no yellow flag somehow as everyone gets as we stay green flag here as Dev McDonald still hangs on to third. Tim Rogers hangs on to second. Hayden Swank, though, the man of this race, we'll see now 11 laps to go as he tries to drive away from Tim Rogers and drive into the sunset with the championship. He's the only playoff driver left, so he's trying to do both. Pick up the win here tonight and that championship. As Zach Heiser hangs out in the fourth position, only other car on the speedway. 2 laps down here tonight with that contact to that inside wall. This time by 2 open palms from the flagman. 10 laps to go here for Hayden Swank and the championship. We'll get a view here from the grandstands. It is the fan cam here on the front stretch. Taking a look here, see what it looks like to be a fan here on the front stretch as these cars go on by here in the Florida night at the Homestead Miami Speedway. You can see the gap to Hayden Swank and Tim Rogers, about 2.5 seconds separating those 2 cars here tonight. And Hayden Swank, of course, trying to park it down there on the front stretch in the victory lane here. As now off of turn number 4, Hayden Swank will see the 8 to go mark. As we take a look here at our race leader, checking on out Hayden Swank, 5.5 seconds over Tim Rogers with that contact to Ron Hart. That car definitely off the pace, but still hanging on to second. You can see that front end very crushed on that car, but still able to hang on to second. As Dev McDonald is closing the gap here in a hurry. Dev McDonald might finish P number 2 by the end of this one. Last time by 2 seconds better, Dev McDonald. As this time by, we see 6 laps to go. Now a little bit closer of a lap time. Tim Rogers ran to Dev McDonald, so this could maybe not be over. Tim Rogers about 2 seconds in front of Dev McDonald, but between them, they also have the 14 machine of Zach Heiser. This time by Hayden Swank, we'll see the open palm. 5 laps to go here till Hayden Swank walks away with his first ASRC championship. Tim Rogers down the backstretch, a little bit of contact to the wall there. This is allowing Dev McDonald continue to close on the gap to both him and Zach Heiser there. Zach Heiser, of course, a lap down here with 4 laps to go. The gap to McDonald and Rogers now 1.25 seconds separating these two. Dev McDonald will have enough time to get to the back bumper of Tim Rogers. Does McDonald have enough to get on around him? That's a whole nother debate here As McDonald now within a second slides it off of turn number 4. We see 3 laps to go here tonight. And you can see the distance. They're shrinking, especially corner entry. McDonald able to send that car in so much deeper than Tim Rogers and then put down that loud pedal, get these big runs off the corner. Deb McDonald is to the back bumper of Tim Rogers here heading into turn number 3. At the flag stand, Hayden Swank will see popsicle sticks up in the air. 2 laps to go to decide to make him an ASRC champion. As these two now see the popsicle sticks and the battle is on. McDonald will airmail it on the high side. Get a big run here to turn number 2. Does he have enough? As Tim Rogers shuts the door, McDonald will cross him on over and get loose as they almost make contact there. McDonald now to the inside of Rogers. These guys racing hard. Hayden Swank will see the white flag here. So this race will not end under a yellow. Next flag will race to the checkered as Tim McDonald, Tim Rogers battling intensely for this second spot here tonight. They will go side by side down the backstretch, but off of turn number 4. Hayden Swank on the apron. He will pick up his first ever ASRC championship. Then we go back to the battle for second. They touch off at turn number 4. Tim Rogers will spin. Same with Dev McDonald. They both wreck towards the line. Dev McDonald will somehow get that car across the line as Tim Rogers will limp his to P number 3. But the story of the hour, Hayden Swank makes himself a ASRC champion here tonight with the win. And makes himself an ASRC champion and picks up the win here tonight, adding, I believe, a 4th win this season for the 35 machine. And that is an impressive season from Hayden Swank and an awesome championship. 13 weeks in the making coming down here tonight. And Hayden Swank outlasts his competition at a very tricky track, race of attrition. He walks away with the championship. We'll be right back on the other side with post-race interviews. We head back here to interview our top 3. First, our 3rd place driver, Tim Rogers, with a very beat up 48 machine. Tim, this thing's looking like a modified out here on the front stretch. I mean, tell us about that finish there, Tim. That looked wild.
Well, that final restart, I don't know. I had to, a couple laps after that final restart, I just had to itch my shoulder and I freaking just destroyed the outside wall, and the thing wasn't driving straight since. I mean, I had to crank the wheel all the way to the left just to get the thing to turn. Thought I could fight for it, but Devin finally caught me, and I wasn't, we were gonna race it out, and he was telling me he was pretty loose and stuff, and we just ended up wrecking. I mean, yeah, sad for my guys. I'm sad for the destroyed race car. What can you do?
Yeah, tough break to walk away with a destroyed race car, but you finished third in a big race of attrition. I mean, how difficult was it here tonight? We saw so many guys drop on out, just mistakes by themselves. Like you said, Tim, even you got the wall. That's pretty big some point here tonight.
Oh, yeah, the car just, I don't know, just broke loose randomly off exit. You couldn't really feel it coming, and when it did, you couldn't do bleep all to save it. Can we swear on this program? Probably not.
Appreciate the self-censor, Tim. As yeah, Tim, wild stuff here off of turn number 4. I mean, it looked like you got loose just before Dev McDonald. If you saw him getting loose first, I mean, would you have backed out and tried to let him wreck and try and get back that second position? Or were you committed full send that final lap?
Nah, baby, it was checkers or wreckers. Just that was my whole strategy. Just the whole season was checkers or wreckers. Just see what I could do. Hey, we got a win at Phoenix. I had to move Dave Payton to do that. But let's just talk about that win at Phoenix. How good was that move for the win when I just moved David Payton right out of the way just to win that race? I mean, that was pretty cool, wasn't it?
That wasn't a very impressive move, Tim. Very hard to do on the sim to get someone enough bumper to move them and not wreck them. You did a great job with that. Looks like you got a little bit of a shaker hood now on your car.
Oh yeah, we'll probably bring this thing back to the shop, salvage it for whatever parts we can, and just bring it to the graveyard.
Alrighty, Tim. Another thing we got to ask about. We saw it a lot in our grid here tonight. You got 4 eyes on that car. I mean, tell us about that helmet wrap here for the season championship.
Oh, I don't know. I thought I'd change it up. Just for crap. Well, you can't. Never mind. Well, okay, hold on. Yeah, I just wanted to change it. I thought it looked pretty cool. Uh, just wanted to change things up. I almost swore. That's why I just did the whole backtracking thing.
Very much appreciate the censorship once again, Tim. And 13 weeks coming to an end here tonight. Tim, I know had to miss some races, but you almost had yourself a ticket to the Final Four. Of course, you made it to that playoff round, and sadly, luck didn't go your way. I mean, especially with finishing third here tonight, you could have had a very good shot. I mean, what's your expectations? As I heard rumors that maybe we'll see the 87s come. What could you expect from those things for you?
I feel like I made a lot of adjustments to my sim rig. I found out I wasn't really running the correct field of view, and I really hammered down on running that or, figuring my stuff out. I felt like since I've done that, I've ran an official race. I've run a bunch of races, and I feel like I'm more consistent, and I think that's a big thing you need to be for the 87 cars. Uh, Probably not gonna, well, the goal is to win a race, but overall, I just want to have fun.
Yeah, always a great goal, Tim. Is if you're not having fun, why are you even doing it? So, Tim, always a pleasure talking to you at the end of the season. Now we're gonna go hand over the mic for the final time over to you and let you thank who you got to thank out there in the YouTube world.
First off, I always forget this, but I want to thank you guys, you Brett the Jet, Turn 3 Racing Network, for broadcasting this. I know this was probably a tough one to get through, but hey, we,
A little.
we, yeah, yeah, I knew it. We got through it, so thank you to these guys. Thanks to all the ASRC admins, Andrew, for taking the time to put on this series and stuff, and um, yeah. Uh, who else on? I want to thank Skull Bandit Racing for hopping on. We didn't get him a win this season, unfortunately, but we'll keep trying. I also want to thank all the, what do you call it? What do you call the chat? The YouTube chat lands or
Yep,
something?
yep.
I want to thank all the people in the YouTube chat lands, especially the ones earlier in the season that were calling for my head. Guess what? I made it to the end, baby. Let's go, and I got a podium. Um, yeah, that's it.
Alrighty, Tim. Always a great time interviewing you. Always making me laugh up here. So, Tim, you have yourself a great off season here, and I can't wait to talk to you here some more. As Tim, always a pleasure talking to you, buddy. We'll catch you on the flip side.
See ya, Brett.
Alrighty, we now head up to P number 2. That is a very similar looking car, now being piloted by Devin McDonald. Devin, you got a copy? It's Brett the Jet in the booth here.
Yeah, I got a copy, Brett.
Alrighty, I was just saying, your car looking very similar to Tim Rogers, missing the front nose. I mean, tell us about that last couple lap battle between you and the 48.
Yeah, it was a battle for sure, to say the least. We were just racing hard. I seen I was slowly catching them and give it all I could coming out of turn 4 and managed to get to second place.
Yeah, that you did. It was almost synchronized spinning as both you guys come off at turn number 4. A little too early on the loud pedal, and both you guys hit the wall. Luckily, I mean, kind of unlucky for you. Hopefully you're all right, but luckily you hit the wall a little bit harder and able to go across the start-finish line sliding.
Yeah, I kind of bounced off the wall and come across the lawn first, so that was great in that part.
Yeah, as Devin, we saw a lot of race of attrition here tonight at Homestead. I mean, how difficult was it to keep this car under you? It seemed like these things just kind of snapped on their own off-corner exit without any warning and send you into that wall.
Yeah, they were really a handful to drive tonight. It had to be really smooth and coming out the corner, but I hit to tap the wall a few times, and other than that late run caution there, that's the only reason why we got up to where we're to.
Yeah, you walk away P number 2 here once again as... Was it Charlotte, Devin, that we talked to you in P number 2 as well?
Yep.
Yeah, nice. So keeping the streak up with these number 2s is Devin. That is awesome to see here. Getting some consistency late. Sadly, you didn't have enough points to make it into the Final 4, but if you did, you would have came home right behind Hayden. I mean, I don't know if anyone had anything for that 35 machine here tonight, but Devin, heck of a run from you. I mean, definitely the rebound of the race from where you're going and where you ended up. Tell us a little bit about that strategy. You're the last car to pit, a long green flag run there on those tires.
Well, that's what I was trying to do. Was I was kind of hoping for a late run caution, so I had the better tires than everybody else, and kind of played out in our favor a bit. But that 35 of Hayden Swank, he was just super fast, and we had nothing for him tonight.
Yeah, he was definitely very quick. So, Devin, before we go and let you wrap up things for 13 weeks in the making, you come away with some great points and, of course, very close to the top of the championship. Also close, but we're going to go turn it over to you and thank who we got to thank here before we send it on off.
Well, first off, I'd like to thank you, Brett, for the broadcast and the Turn 3 Racing Network for putting it all on the air for everyone to watch. I'd like to thank Andrew for putting his league race together, and I'd like to thank all the ASRC members and everybody that are making it happen week in and week out, and I'd like to thank my family for letting me race week in and week out.
Alrighty, Devin, always a pleasure having you here on the Raceway, and I tell you what, a lot of great consistency out of these last couple weeks. A great show of improvement. So, Devin, you keep up the great work, and I can't wait to see what you got in store for next season. So, Devin, have yourself a great off season, and we'll catch you on the flip side.
All right, see you, Brett.
Alrighty, folks. Now we head down to Victory Lane and talk to our next gen champion. That is the 35 machine of Hayden Swank. Hayden, you got a copy? It's Brett the Jet in the booth here.
What's going on, Brett?
Alrighty, Hayden. We walked down here. You already got the trophy out on the car. This thing got delivered a few laps early down to the pit stall. Hayden, you are an ASRC champion. We'll start there first. How does that feel?
Oh man, yeah, it feels great. This is actually the first time I've won any kind of championship in real life in sim racing, so definitely something I was like really looking forward to winning. Yeah, just a lot of pressure coming into this race with the whole points reset and basically being in a must win, and this not being one of my best tracks either. So I was definitely a little bit nervous coming into the night, but luckily I was able to qualify pretty well, hold on to track position. I think that was key in helping to stay out of trouble.
Yeah, track position definitely a big help for you. But Hayden, long run speed unmatched from this 35 machine. I mean, you had to have put a couple hours into practice or something, because this pace was almost unmatched here tonight at Homestead. What was the secret?
Yeah, I did prepare for this race just because I knew I was going to be behind the 8 ball. I don't think I've ever placed good here in official races and other league races ever. So I definitely wanted to, put a few extra laps before practice tonight. But unfortunately, my pedals weren't working quite right. So that was really scaring me. But luckily they behaved themselves for the most part during the race.
Yeah, that I remember you mentioned that before the race. Totally forgot to mention that on the broadcast. But Hayden, luckily that works out for you, and you walk away with the championship. I mean, nothing like a little mechanical issues right before one of your biggest races of this season and probably your career, let's say.
Oh, no, this is definitely not the worst mechanical problems of my career. Like if the car runs, I consider it a win. But still not an ideal opportunity or ideal
Circumstances.
there you go. Yeah, struggling for words right now. But yeah, it definitely wasn't ideal, but we were able to pull it out, and luckily didn't have to manage it all too much.
Yeah, Hayden, I think this season we saw a record number of wins from you. I believe we saw 4 wins, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, 4 or maybe even 5 as Hayden. That is a lot for a 13 race season. Where did you find all the speed this season? Because it seemed like, especially coming into tonight, you were probably the fan favorite to walk away with this championship, and you did just that.
Yeah. To be honest with you, points resets, they definitely really exciting. But I was going to be disappointed if I didn't win it tonight after such a strong season. I think a lot of that was just attributed to just really long run speed. I think was the key all year long. Just trying to keep the rears under me and not abusing the right front too badly. I think that was all really helpful in putting together not only wins but solid runs all around the whole year.
As yeah, that is definitely the key to put it all together for a championship. As Hayden Swanky do just that. Heading back to tonight's race, so a big race of attrition. All your competitors getting knocked out before even 10 to go. I mean, how difficult was this car to drive here tonight? As it seemed like this thing kind of snapped sideways, kind of unexpectedly off these corners if you weren't careful.
Yeah, I spent a lot of practice in the wall and facing the wrong direction, so I knew these things were definitely jumpy, especially on old tires. So I really made the decision to make sure I saved them as much as possible and not run them as hard as not run the car as hard as it could go, just to make sure that we stayed out front there, kept the track position. But yeah, no, it was not easy conditions. I hate that we won it the way we did. Definitely not the way I wanted to. And even now, I'm still not sure what happened to everybody. But yeah, I just wanted to make sure I was out front and put myself in a good enough position to stay there.
Yeah, definitely I don't know what the right word for it is, to walk away with a championship like you did. But Hayden, you had control of your race and you charted your own destiny, and you did just that to walk away with the championship. So before we let you go and continue to celebrate down on the front stretch here with this championship and continue all the fun post-race activities and whatnot, I'm going to go hand over the mic to you, Hayden, and thank who you got to thank for 13 races long and to walk away with your first ASRC championship here tonight.
Yeah, just really want to thank the ASRC and Andrew Payne in particular for putting on an incredible season. Really enjoyed, racing before this season, but this season in particular was pretty cool. Also a huge shout out to everybody we've competed with all year, whether they, showed up for every race or just one. I think almost every week we were, a really good group to race with, and that's why a lot of us come back.
Yeah, awesome stuff. Appreciate it, Hayden. You have yourself a great rest of the night. Continue celebrating on the front stretch. It's going to be a party all night long for that 35 crew, Hayden. You have yourself a great one, and we'll catch you on the flip side.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it.
Alrighty, folks. That was Hayden Swank there on the front stretch, dialing it on up. And, of course, we got a little bit something special. We got to, of course, mention one driver and person that puts in a lot of work. That is Andrew Payne in the 93 out there on track, or the admin up in the booth. We got to give a huge shout out for Andrew for putting on this great series for multiple series. He gave me my first break into broadcasting all the way back in the day on the Boosted Brothers Broadcasting with his series, as he wanted me to jump on board in the booth and gave me the opportunity to call it. And ever since then, I have been a part of this. So it's a little bit of a somber moment, as this series will probably take a break. Andrew Payne having to do some adult stuff with going to college and some late night college courses on the Tuesday night. So he'll take a break from adminning for a season, and I can't wait for him to come back and have it. So with that, we may see a different series slot in here. Maybe I heard rumors about maybe some vintage NASCARs coming here, but of course, got to give Andrew Payne a huge shout out here tonight to put on an awesome series and thank him for all the hard work that he has done. He's done a lot with our website, the logos, and all that fun stuff. Andrew Payne, we appreciate it here, as that will do it here for shout outs and whatnot as we get ready to head over our race results and wind things on up. Hayden Swink in the 35 machine walks away tonight with the championship, and tonight's win, Dan McDonald in the 18, finishing second. Third going to Tim Rogers in the 48. Fourth is Zach Heiser in the 14. Rounding out the top 5 is Ron Hart in the 51. Sixth going to Brian Wilderson in the 951. Seventh is Joey Beck in the 42. Eighth is Deontay Hero in the 00. Ninth, Andrew Payne, 93. 10th, Dave Payne in the 38. And 11th going to Tanner Talarico. That will do it here tonight from ASRC here for the Next Gen Series. As this season wraps on up, Hayden Swink is our champion. Thanks again to all the live viewers out there. Thanks to all the replay viewers. And of course, everyone tuning on in. No matter what time you did this season, got to give a huge shout out to you. I've been Brett the Jet from Turn 3 Racing Network. Be sure to check into Turn 3 throughout the week, as we have a lot of great series, a lot of great broadcasters covering a lot of great virtual racing. Everyone stay safe, and we'll catch you at a later date. Be sure to tune in to Wednesday to watch myself and Nick Flory battle for a championship with the Street Stocks. You won't want to miss that as we go to the LA Coliseum. I've been Brett the Jet, and I just flew by you. Have a good one.